other senses when you're blindfolded, that they bloom open, Audible breath in. I love to activate my imagination. And so it's easy and fun for me to imagine that I'm swaying with Darsha and that we're in some beautiful setting. Right now I'm seeing it as kind of an Ireland type background. But that I'm moving as Darsha moves the wind. I'm moving with it, that my hands are open. Audible breath in. And even though I can't see what I'm doing, I trust that the feeling of what I'm doing and the sounds of what I'm doing are enough that I'm not missing anything, but rather my other senses are blooming. Audible breath in. One way you can begin to feel comfortable in the blindfold is to switch your weight back and forth from one leg to the other leg. Or if you feel comfortable, to even attempt a balance by just pulling a leg up off the ground. Audible breath in. Dog swaying with me tonight, which is great. Okay, all right. So you can take your blindfold off for a moment if you like. You can let your eyes blink a little bit if you need to. I think my mic might be just a little hot. There we go. Okay. Nama. Sweet, Nama's here. Okay. Okay, so this is hilarious. So I'm not actually in green, but this is funny. My camera thinks I am, so we'll just go with that. If anything becomes blocky, I am trying to record in HD. I think I've got it figured out. Had some good views and good comment messages related to the HD that is back on. Okay, so Saza is the woman that brings the baby Darsha back, to their, to the, the forest, the Maidan forest. And as she's bringing her, she is never going to be the prima madre. They're not sure. They like to let the sort of Maidan decide that, the baby Maidan decide that. But in the meantime, they begin the training. And so what happens in Darsha's case is, because Darsha's completely blindfolded, she has no idea even what a circle is, probably. She is standing there, and imagine this, like she's a little girl, right? And she's adorable, and she's standing there, and Saza places her in the same type of sunny spot, or same type of place. Wow, cool. I love blindfolded sway. It changed my life. And so what Saza does, Saza the illuminated, right? She's like 5-foot giant afro. She places what she thinks will be potentially Darsha's hoop on her. Darsha's got her little hands. She sort of she does the whole trust thing. Do you trust me? Do you trust me? And then she places the hoop on little Darsha. And I'm sure whatever she said was more beautiful than I would say now. But what she basically tells her is, she says, Darsha, the circle is another piece of you. Just as the wind is a piece of you. And she tells Darsha, she says, move with all the pieces of you. So now we're going to close our eyes or put our blindfolds back on. One, two, okay. So I'm blindfolded with you. And what I want you to imagine, if you need any inspiration, is that whether the hoop is hanging from you or you know what you're going to do with it already, that you step back and imagine that you, like the baby Darsha, the toddler Darsha, are feeling something that you don't even understand. Imagine not knowing what a circle is. But Darsha knows what wind is. She knows what her hands are. And so with the wind in the hands, the little toddler begins to move with the circle. Audible breath in. Open. Open. Even at 3 years old, Darsha understood that her mother had gone away. And she thought of her mother as a piece of her. And so when Saza advised her to move with all the pieces of her, the first piece little Darsha thought of was her loving mother. You can imagine someone has meant so much to you that they're a piece of you. And you can bloom into that feeling. Open, open, open. Sometimes we realize just how much our sight affects our mental state. How much it can help, but how much it can hinder. Even Saza, the illuminated, believed it was good to move in a blindfolded way. To bloom into things and to turn away from other things that don't serve us. Open. Oh, wow. That song went by really fast. Wow, okay. Actually, I might just let that play. That wasn't the song I was planning on. Let me know if the volume needs any help. You can stay. Actually, let's just stay blindfolded. I don't really think you need me for this one. I want to make sure that everybody understands that we do not necessarily need to be in point to be doing any of these things. Darsha had become familiar with everything through her sense of touch. As a child, her mother would describe things that could only be seen, like the sun, by giving Darsha something to hold. So as Darsha moved, she was developing familiarity. It was as if her mother had given her the circle to hold and to learn what it means. Darsha would move the hoop all over her skin. She would move with the wind. She would open her hands. She would grip the hoop. She was developing trust. Trust that whatever shape this wasn't going to intentionally strike her. And by holding it with two hands, or by letting it hang, or by rubbing it across an arm, her mind was beginning to see a shape her eyes had never seen. Audible breath in. As you grow in your trust, as Darsha grew in her trust, we can begin to take steps forward and steps back. If you're new to the blindfold, you'll want to travel all over the room, but as you get more flight time with the blindfold, your body tends to have a better sense of centering than you might think. And you'll find yourself taking 2 steps one way, but then 2 steps back the other. Audible breath in. Audible breath in. Now, Darsha believed in her sense of touch that it did not stop at her skin. Darsha believed that she could touch energy, that she could feel it. Like she could feel a wind, an unnamed wind, an unnamed energy, but there to be felt. Audible breath in. Sweet. Wow, I'm getting lost in my own sways right now. Okay. Okay, so of course they want to teach, Darsha to be the best Maidan that she can, and so the Maidan are super special, and so they try all of these different ideas, and eventually they know that Darsha will need the ability to walk without the aid of an animal or a stick or someone helping them, and so part of their training was they believed that, they believed in their hearts that they could train her to develop these sort of supernatural senses and be able to kind of, run and jump and things like that. And so what they would do is they would put Darsha, Anna especially, would put her on her back and she would run very quickly with her. We're going to go ahead and emulate that right now. So I want you to pick up the hoop and throw it on your waist. And I want you to imagine this is sort of the period. You can close your eyes or drop your blindfold. You do not have to wear a blindfold the whole time, and if you get dizzy, you don't need one. But what we're doing right now is these are the first couple of runs that Anna takes Darsha on. Anna, if you don't know the story, she's a fantastic runner. She's mythically strong. She has endurance. She has giant long legs, and she runs like a gazelle. And Darsha is on the back of her. Now, I would like you to close your eyes now. And I want you to, or drop your blindfold, and I want you to imagine, as the hoop is going around you, that the rocking that you're feeling is Anna carrying you, that you are on her back. Then Darsha, being precocious, would try to fall into the rhythm of Anna's back as Anna's running at this crazy speed. And Darsha could feel the wind wrapping around Anna. And this is what we call the current. Audible breath in. And so Anna takes Darsha on many and many of these runs. And then on one morning, she takes Darsha to the desert flats. And she says, "Darsha, don't be scared." And she walked 10 feet away, and she said, "Darsha, walk to me." Darsha held up her little hands and walked towards her. Anna was silent as she could be, and she walked 20 or 30 meters away. She says, "Darsha, come follow me." And Anna was amazed at how straight a line Darsha took for her. And so this went on again and again. "Come here." Darsha would come, Anna would move. She said, "Come here." And then one time she said, as she began to walk away from Darsha, she said, "Darsha, stay with me. Stay with me." And she would call out her name, "Darsha, Darsha." And Anna began to run faster and faster. And though Darsha was scared, she believed that Anna would not put her anywhere that she could be hurt. And she realized that she would have to trust that care, that she would have to trust that love. And Anna begins to run faster, and Darsha behind her. Current of wind spun around Darsha, and she would turn with it. She would turn against it. She would step into that wind, Meanwhile, Anna would call to her, Darsha, I'm here. Darsha, I'm here. Audible breath in. Darsha could feel the wind, the current wrapping around her. She could tell she was running towards the sun. She could feel that as her day. And though it was hot, she could feel the night space behind her. Open, open. And Darsha began to trust her ability to handle this unseen current. Audible breath in. As you're moving with your blindfold, step into the role of Anna or Darsha and open your hands as if you're trying to make sure that there's no harm in front of you. But then imagining your hands becoming bird-like, flying with the wind you're feeling, maybe reaching out into it, maybe pulling it back. Eventually, Anna fell silent so that she could watch Darsha run on her own. And Darsha forgot to even chase Anna. Audible breath in. Open, open, open. Darsha saw the path of contact as Anna, as her mother, running around her. And as she pushed into that wind, it wrapped itself around her. Imagine your hands in flight. You're wrapping the hoop's rhythm around you. You're wrapping the current around you. And just as you can guide your hands up and down through the air, you can guide the hoop. And so if I want to bring the hoop up to my shoulders, I guide it to my shoulders. With our blindfold on, we can see without looking, meaning that we can feel without feeling for anything. And we can feel both quadrants, both halves of the front half of our body. We can feel the night side in each quadrant there. Open. And we can trust in repetition. We can trust in rhythm. And we can't see the hoop, but we can feel it. I'm going to reverse. Open, open. Anna finally calls out to her and she says, faster, faster, faster. And what I want you to imagine doing is speeding up your hoop wherever it is and getting the hoop zinging around nice and fast. Forget what it looks like. What does it feel like? What has to stretch? What has to open? Audible breath in. Reverse. Darsha would notice that as she ran, if she tilted her head down towards the earth, that the wind would change. And if she tilted her head and looked up to the sky and bloomed that way, that the wind would change. Open, open, open. Well, Darsha loves the feeling, of course, and so she begins to take that feeling everywhere. Down to her waist, down to her legs, to her hips, to her toes, wherever she wanted it to go. Audible breath in. Your heart rate is coming up. Your hands are staying open. Audible breath in. The hoop could be anywhere you need it to be. Mine's on my shoulder. I'm letting the wind spin me. Open. Okay, wow. We're having some long songs tonight. I hope you guys are digging these long songs. I am. How's it going, babe? How are you feeling? What's that? Yeah, it's super intense, right? Okay. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. That one is... Okay. All right. So now we're going to move into these camera angles. All right. So you can raise your blindfold with me if you want. So the hardest thing for Anna to really teach or translate to Darsha was the idea of two birds, because Darsha really hadn't seen two birds, and she could hold a bird. She couldn't really see it in flight. And so it was quite a little trip to try and teach Darsha how birds flew. And so what Anna did was she basically tied these little kites, basically pieces of cloth stretched over wood, and she tied one to each hand of Darsha, and she took her out to the desert again, and the wind would pick up, and it would grab little Darsha's hands and move them around with that wind, okay? And so when Darsha was, when Anna was sort of teaching her the importance of two birds and really the why we do two birds, this is how she would do it. So let's imagine we're back in our hoops. Now the flow of this actually could be, it doesn't need to be core hooping per se. Actually, maybe it'd be better if it wasn't core hooping. Yeah. So I'm going to invite you in. This is kind of a crazy exercise, but you can do it with your eyes opened or closed if you need to. But what you're going to imagine is that your hands, each hand has a little kite to it, And so the movement of your hands is going up as the wind pulls that kite, and it's going down as it doesn't. Then, like most people discover with kites, Darsha discovered that although the wind was pulling her hands, that she could pull back with her hands. Darsha could feel as she would push a hand out and sway it around. She could feel the flight of that hand tied to that kite ball. As hoopers, one beautiful thing we can take with this story. Hey Carla. Is that we can tie those kites to places other than our hands. For instance, I could tie the kites to my elbows. Again, you could be blindfolded or not. But I could imagine that one kite is really taking my elbow for a flight. I could imagine that the other kite pulls against the other elbow. Nice, T. I can even imagine that the point opposite me on the hoop is held by a kite. Open. Something I like to imagine is that one of those kites is tied to a foot or to each foot. And that whether I'm moving fast or slow, that the wind can pick up a foot and place it back down. Open. Rexus wants to be with stepdad tonight. No, I don't want to get too heavy, but one of the places that really helps me physically, emotionally, spiritually is to imagine a kite affixed to my head, pulling my chin up, reminding me to look up from my feet, to look up from the day-to-day, to look up from my struggle, to pull my shoulders back, as Tara would say. And so I'm playing with this upward pull. So for a lot of people, if I'm shoulder hooping, what can really help is to be pulled up by these spots. This is a pretty good one to play. One last little point that I'll mention, though, because It is time for free hoop. Wow, this class just totally flew by. I hope this was okay for you guys. This is one of those classes where I've had a great time, and I hope you have too. Does that look good? Not really. Well, kind of. Okay. But one of the things that helps me, going back to this kites on hands thing, for those of you that have wanted to be able to kind of like penny roll while shoulder hooping, like this sort of move here, one of the things that can really help you from the Darsha desert kite story is imagining your hands are being pulled up as the hoop flies by you. The hoop comes, your hands come up, right? And so one of the ways that you can become better at slow shoulders, where you're actually like it's almost so slow that it just feels like passing, is to bring the hands up, to imagine they're being pulled kite-like up and up and up and up. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to move into our free hoop now. I think we'll stay with the songs. This is kind of an upbeat one, but we'll settle it down after this. Sweet. Okay, good. Fast because I just want to make sure that everybody knows. I'm sorry. We have a special guest on Thursday. Brecken Rivera is going to be in kitchen, in studio with us on Thursday. She and I are going to be doing a class kind of like Beth and like Ann and I did, where we play songs. We're going to sort of move freely to them along with you, and then we'll share our thoughts on what techniques happened and what sort of felt good. We've done these ones before. It was kind of funny last time we called it Scary Songs. It's not going to be quite like that with Anne, but anyway, Brecken will be here with me in class Thursday night. Two more. I know, he does look like he took his Xanax. It's just really hot. Well, Jennifer, you know, you're in North Carolina. It's crazy hot. Or it's not crazy hot, but it's hot enough to melt a Canadian. I'll put it that way.
You make things start moving slow. You make things start moving slow.
If you like this is on SoundCloud. This is Creature. I have played them before. They did I did a featured them for a whole jam. Really good stuff. Okay, let's do maybe one more and then we'll call it. Oh wait, this is not.
One evening as the sun went down and the jungle fire was burning.
Alright, let's play another creature song actually. We'll finish with this one tonight. Okay guys, thank you so much. Thursday, don't forget, Brecken will be here. Should be fun. And she did not want to teach. That's why she's not teaching. But she wanted to be a part of the stream in class because she's been a part of it in the past. So she'll be here. Thank you. Amber, it's always nice when you show up. You bring such great energy. Thank you. At how blue I am. Claire, as always, great to see you. I'm so glad that Nama did set up those Zoom classes for us, or Zoom jams, because now I know what you guys look like. Although I knew what Claire looked like before, and a few of you, but it's so great. Sweet, Anastasia. It's good to see you. I had a feeling. Although, Anastasia, I think you, nice, Carla. Got me. Anastasia, I think you have a direct link. You and Lindsay.
Yo.
Rex up. Okay, everybody. Wave goodbye, Tara. Thank you, everybody.